Hey guys, today I'll be doing a tutorial on how to use Enscape with Rhino. Enscape's a great real-time rendering program that can give you amazing effects within your project very quickly. One of the key things, so here's the website here. So this is where you would download it and get potentially a free trial for 14 days or look into buying a license. But yeah, back to what's important with this program. You need to have the correct spec on your computer in terms of graphics card. So definitely some form of NVIDIA RTX is preferable, as these are more capable of handling the processing power that this program requires in order to get the results you need. So we'll head into Rhino. So from our tutorial before, we were looking at creating a few objects and a quick overview. Now, let's look at these spheres just for reference. So we're going to, once you've installed Enscape, you've got your controls here. So you've got your start command, your live updates, your view sync with Rhino and Enscape, so it will sync the view that you currently have in Rhino and follow around. This is your asset library, so I'll open a few of these up to have a look. So we'll bring that over here. So this is all stored online, sorry. So you need to have an internet connection in order to access all these. So you've got different assets here, people, and they're all categorized here. So you've got vegetation, for instance, some furniture, and just, yeah, all around just a whole lot of basic different assets that you may use in your model. And then back here, we've got a few materials that Enscape offers. So they already have quite a good library that you can use. Some of them are pretty good, but most of the time you may need to go off and get your own. We'll get into where you can get them in a little bit. And then we may as well start the Enscape viewport up so you can have a look at how this looks without any effects at the moment. So it'll take a couple minutes to load. I'll just bring that over so we can have a look at how this looks. Again, this is why it's really important to have a decent graphics card to be able to run this in simultation with Rhino. So here we go. There's your spheres within the model space. So I'll just quickly run through some of the parameters in here. So up here, this is where the little eye, or the visual settings, this is where you can control a lot of your effects that are within Enscape, like your style. So you've got all these different styles here, white modes, polystyrol, light view, and sketch. So this will adjust based on the model. Generally, you'll leave this as none. And then your camera projections as well. You've got your exposure, so you can change that if need be. So it makes it a bit brighter or a bit darker. Your field of view as well, zooming in and out. And then down the bottom here, you've got your render quality. Generally, you'll leave this at high as it produces a very good final result. And you can adjust a few things within the image here as well. So there's sort of, your standard image effects, like your highlights, shadows, saturation, and color temperature. You can play a bit with the sun brightness and your different like artificial lights that you might add within Rhino. And then in terms of the sky, you can control the clouds, how dense they are, how much there is. There's a lot of options that you can pick, which is great about Enscape. And yeah, just here the white background, so you can turn everything off if you just want to focus in on your model, and that is a great way to create diagrams as well. And then here's your output settings, which you would adjust based on the final output in terms of quality or whatever that you want. And then leaving that, we've got fly mode, which is your standard fly around, and walk mode. And in order to move around as well, you're using your right mouse key to mostly orbit within the space. And then your pan is your left to pan like that. And then, yeah, there we go, to move around orbit in 3D like that. And then you've got your forwards, which is W, backwards S, left is A, and D is right. And then your up and down is your Q is going down, and your E is going up. And if you wanted to adjust the sun, you would go and hold Shift, right click, and you slide the mouse across to the left or to the right, and that will adjust the time of day within the model space. And then in terms of adding some materiality, just to demonstrate this, we would select our object or layer over here. We then click on the materials. There's a little circle next to your color coding within the layers here. And you'll pull down here, you'll see it will default to plaster and default material. Go to Enscape and name this. So let's say we just want to put a wood texture on there. We'll name that wood. Okay. Now we come over to our material tuner here, which we need to wait for that to open. Yep. Click here. And for this example, we're just going to use some Enscape default material. So you'll see here, if you click on that circle next to the wood layer, which we created within Rhino, that syncs into Enscape, and we go replace here. And we can then add, for instance, our wood or timber texture through here. So let's say we want to put some vertical planks on there. We'll go to replace, and that will add that Enscape material. And for instance, we'll go back to the view to look at that. Notice how the timber isn't scaled very well onto our objects. In order to adjust this, we'll go back into our tuner, which is here, and we can have that open in live with Enscape. And just to come back, we click here on the little tile here, little thumbnail on the texture, and that will take us here where we can adjust our width and height. So we'll go 1 and 1, and notice how that gets smaller, and we might even go all the way down to like 0.5 by 0.5. And you will just play with this accordingly, depending on the size of the model that you're rendering, as this can adjust accordingly. And we might rotate them, for instance, here 90 degrees, and that will adjust the rotation of the material as well. And one final thing I'll say is, if you need to get materials other than what Enscape offers, if you pop in here, a great website is textures.com, which does give you, you do need to make an account, and it does give you a limited amount of textures that are free. I think there's about 14, and it's a great way to sort of create more depth than what Enscape offers and quality. And another one that we can also offer is Architextures or Architextures. So this is completely free, and you can come in here and you'll see that they've got seamless textures that you can download and import into Enscape. So for instance, if we were going to, let's say, use one of theirs, instead of clicking into here and replacing it, we would go texture, and click on the file, and you would then just go and grab your texture from wherever you've saved it after downloading and import it into here. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.